Now to reveal a truth behind my saga that very few realize. You all, Christians and even angelic hosts, condemn me for my name and for deeds they say I committed, but you all fail to realize a very important factor. You who seek to condemn me for all eternity, see me cast into fires of eternal damnation. Blah blah blah. Yet you don't realize that my tragedy could very easily be your tragedy. You seek to condemn me, but before you do, try considering the fact of whether you are ready to condemn yourself by the same means. We know not the road ahead or where we may end up. You have no idea of whether or not one day you too may trespass against God in the same way you say I trespassed against him. What then? Well, you would not have any choice, for you condemned me by certain methods and so, to maintain the justice in your own judgment. So too must you be judged and condemned by the same methods, otherwise you will be seen as the true evil and I was just the victim of your masquerading righteousness hiding the true evil within you. This was God's response. Since you all seem to be so doubtful and steadfast against my angel, I shall show you how far I am willing to go to show you he is who he says.
I am what you made me. Your judgment, your wrath, your mistake.
Upon the battlefield of Megiddo, Lucifer and God clash with celestial swords. Face to face, God is confronted with the core of Lucifer's evil as the fire in his eyes sear into the core of God's being.
One day.
The righteous purity of God is confronted with his own fallibility that he has blinded himself to. In molding Lucifer into the angel of destruction, Apollyon, he denied the mistake once again of bringing unfair judgment down upon his angel. All the suffering of Lucifer's rise to become what God intended for him to be, to mold him into a mighty warrior angel, clashed with the condemnation God had against Lilith and the pain it caused Lucifer as he watched God bear forth his wrath upon her as he took back the miracle he once offered her. Lucifer's blade struck true as the searing scar left God with the undeniable pain and suffering that drove him to become the tempest of angels, that left God forever changed into the wrathful, angry, short-tempered God he became known as in the scriptures. Lucifer stumbles back as God's wings fling him backwards and the fury of God's new vengeful wrath flares out and scars Lucifer's mighty radiance into the twisted beast of fury known as Satan. Lucifer glares with the light of 1,000 suns in his eyes, blinding God as he retreats into the shadows.
Your condemnation has only shown the truth behind you that you hid from us all. You can hide it no longer.
The whispers of shadows echo in the darkness covering his retreat. Now, you must have some sort of serious importance for me to be willing to go so far. God would not be willing to do this even to himself unless it was of great importance. In fact, I haven't seen you go this far since the time when you came to Earth as your son. However, you should realize that I know the truth behind you and your son. However, there are those seeking to exploit that to claim dominance over your creation. Jesus is your mortal son sent to live and die one day for us. He does not carry the authority of the Creator of all things. That is what they are trying to exploit. Remember the opening part of this conversation. What befalls me, they will seek to try and use against you. I've seen their hearts' intentions.
Here is a concept for the church that I'm sure many Christians come to question. The Holy Trinity. Tell me, how is it that there is only one true God, yet they believe God is split between three individual forms? If there is only one true God, which is a concept I do believe in due to my personal experiences, then why does the church promote the belief in a trinity of beings that are God? It would be much simpler to say that there is the Holy Almighty God and Creator, who exists beyond creation, and there are incarnates of his being within creation that are conduits of his direct influence in creation. Is this belief in a trinity used to support the whole Pope being a representation of God's vessel on earth and arbiter of his will? This makes it seem more like a design of man's, not a design of God's. Maybe God just sits back and waits for the best-sounding idea that man can scheme up that might suit his agenda best and utilizes them when needed. So basically the winner on the corner who thinks God speaks to him when he's drunk, could be right if he happens to find himself in a position that might serve God's will. From a discussion with an individual who has lost their way to a judge who may be placed on a very critical case that could tip the balances of justice, down even to a man who writes his thoughts and views thinking he is divinely inspired hoping to make a difference in the world. Simply put, God works in mysterious ways. You cast me upon the road of heretical opinions fueled by spite, but you failed, demon, and got your answer not with sarcasm but with merciful understanding and patience. Regardless of your intention, you should see that their reply is meant to sound prideful. They are luring you into a discussion about a claim you've made. I'm warning you because it was I who sought your help with the translation. Your actions were of retaliation. I am not one who seeks to see others suffer for things I am responsible for. I will answer for this intervention between you and them. Now go while you can, demon.
What you did was honorable. We cannot fault you for your honesty, human. Evil cannot resist being evil, so we will have another opportunity. It's inevitable. It was a brave thing you did. I now see why the Almighty says you remind him of Moses. He acted the same way with God for the Hebrews on their journey to the